All right, guys, pro tip for those looking to buy a home: watch out for trees. Large trees near your structure are your home's worst nightmare. Roots will grow right through the foundation of your house, and they grow far from that tree. You can almost imagine, the branches sticking out of the top of the tree. The roots do the exact same thing. So if you got branches hitting your house, you probably got roots hitting your house too. But they'll grow right through your foundation of your house, your garage, and they'll turn your driveway into one of those disheveled city streets as the roots grow beneath it. It'll chop up that concrete. The roots also grab a generous amount of the moisture, the precipitation, and that leaves your lawn not a lawn. It's all dirt. These kind of things can happen with the tree. So if you're dreaming of that nice, beautiful green backyard and you got a huge tree back there, it's going to be root and dirt. If the cracking of your foundation isn't bad enough, the leaf drop easily clogs gutters meant to bring the water away from where it seeps down into the foundation. So when the leaves fall, they go right into your gutters, right into the downspout, clogging it all up and all that. And even if you don't got any foundation stuff going on, it's a chore. It leaves you with a never-ending chore of constant gutter and yard cleanups. You're always raking, spring and fall. If the branches these leaves came from are long enough to scrape your roof, they will damage the shingles. And if ignored, it can cause a leaking roof. Another upkeep, keeping an eye on those branches, making sure they're trimmed and all that stuff. Speaking of keeping an eye on the branches, they often shed. They die, wither, and break, landing on whatever's underneath them. Sometimes sticking out of the ground vertically like a fallen spear, so imagine walking under that when it happens. The big ones fall off during storms. Sometimes on your house, sometimes on your car, sometimes on your fence, sometimes on your neighbor's house, car, deck, or fence. And then there's pests. Bugs, birds, squirrels love these big trees. But the day will come when they're sitting on that branch and they look over at your house and say, that looks like a nice spot for our extended family. It costs thousands of dollars to take down a large tree. I have a family who bought their home about a year ago. They didn't consider the enormous oak right outside their back door, and it's in their tiny little backyard. And before the house went to market, most of the issues the property was already suffering. This is basement stuff. They were covered up. The agent obviously brushed past the huge red flags and maybe gave them a one-liner, hustled them to another area of the property. And over the course of their first year living there, they found out. And they didn't know any better. Besides the damage to their home that they are in the middle of repairing, like big repairs, like sub pump, like had to put one in the house and repair all the walls from flooding. The tree itself will probably cost around $8,000 to get rid of, so it stops growing. And that's on top of what they're already paying for the damages that's already happened. And the driveway damage. Their driveway's all jacked up and everything else. They just didn't know. They didn't factor it in. And this naivety is quite common. It's unfortunate, this mass lack of knowledge about homes in general. And I know it's a lot to get a firm grip on everything that goes into managing your own property and such. But what the hell? I mean, just put this into perspective. We've got all these people making the biggest financial decision of their life. The longest financial commitment to loans and upkeep. But more often than not, they're solely relying on an inspector's report for this huge decision. And even when the home buyer is told about these issues, the price for the home is all they can afford. And they figure they can deal with it all later, not grasping how bad some of these things really are. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Ha ha ha. and say that these hazards are not just financial. These aren't just financial burdens. They're big inconveniences. Both living with all these fixes that need to be done or are getting done, and besides the safety concerns or anything like that, the stress levels of dealing with something like this, these type of things, it can really pull on relationships as well. Just saying, these things, oh, I got to spend money on this. No, it's more than that. It's going to stress you and your partner out if you weren't already stressed out enough. You know what I'm saying?